Hello there and welcome to the 7th episode of my Beagle Standard build log. I'm Diede and today we're going to talk about the extruder motor or cold end. The assembly manual for the cold end is a separate manual. Here I printed it out, and one can be mistaken to assemble this one off the printer, which is not a good idea because step 1 is mount the extruder plate at its final position. So we're going to build it on the printer. It shouldn't take long, it's only 3 pages. So without having any further delay, let's get started. The extruder package comes actually as a separate package in the kit. So everything you need to build the extruder is in this package, except for the extruder motor, which we prepared in the wire preparation, and 2 M4x16 screws to install the bracket to the printer. As that's step 1, that's what we're going to start with. So next step is to install the black motor base plate and the extruder motor to the bracket. The manual says to use the black screw. In my case that was wrong because the black screw is too long. It should be used in another place. Instead use the small M3 screw. I think it's M3x10. The way you mount these brackets and the motor define how your extruder will be mounted to your printer. Next we use the two longest hex screws to mount the motor plate even further. Next install the drive gear. That's this little pinion. It should align with the hole that's here for the filament that goes through. Now we will prepare the hinge so we can install it in once. The hinge is contains the bearing, it contains a tensioner, and it contains one of the pneu fittings. We start by installing the bearing with a little groove for the filament into this slot here, like this, and then we have a little M3 by, I think, M3x12 screw which goes through the bearing and screws into the hinge part, like this. Make sure you don't over tighten it so the hinge can still run freely. Now grab the longest M4 hex nut and screw it in this hole here. This will be the tensioner actually. Don't screw it in completely, just like this, it's good enough. Now grab the last M3 hex nut, put the washer over, like this, and insert it into the actual hinge hole. Now install this to the printer with a little washer in between. Now we only have to install the tensioner and the pneu fittings. The tensioner consists of this little screw, the screw that goes in here, this slightly thicker hex nut, and a spring. So what we do is we insert the thicker hex nut into the spring. We place that right in there. And this screw goes in from the bottom. And the only thing this screw does is securing the spring so it doesn't jump out when you tension it. Now the only thing that's left is install the pneu fittings, these little things, and eventually push in the PTFE tube, but I'll do that at a later stage. So now if you start printing and you notice that the filament is skipping through the gear and it's under extruding, you can adjust the tension by screwing in or unscrewing this screw, which will compress the spring a little bit, and that increases the tension, bearing pushing the filament against the driver gear. So that's pretty much everything there is to this little extruder. Next time we will be talking about the hot end, which again is an assembly in itself. So we will treat that in a different video as well. So that's it for today. I will say stay tuned. Bye.